Alright, okay, so in this video we're going to be talking about the abandoned baby. Actually, we're going to go through a lot of bullish candle patterns right now, okay, and then once we finish the bullish candle patterns we'll start showing you the bearish candle patterns. Alright, so this particular video we're going to go ahead and show you the bullish abandoned baby. Alright, I know it sounds a bit cruel, right? Okay, now there's a couple of ways that you can actually approach the bullish abandoned baby. Okay, now these formations, they appear at the bottoms of trends. Alright, so let's just show you, this will be the top and this will be down the bottom. Okay, so you've got the market coming down, and then you start to see a formation that looks, actually let's take that off, let's get the colors right. Okay, right, so you've got the market coming down, so here is our bearish downtrend, and then you come across a pattern that looks like this. Okay, alright, now I'm going to actually colour that with a bit of blue as well, because it basically means it doesn't matter what candle it is, really, for the formation to show it being a formation. So what you're really going to need to look for is that it does come in handy to actually see this to be a blue doji, and you need to have like just a little bit of a body on it, but most times you won't even see a body. Now in the forex markets you see these happen a lot. They say it's rare, but what they leave out is that these should really be looked for at bottom of trends, alright, and not at little peaks of trends. Like when you get down to here, there's like a bit of support here. You don't want to see one of these formations in the middle of a trend or a minor price level or minor support level. Okay, they should always wait for major resistance and major support levels to actually go ahead and to look for these for, but these ones here only happen at bottoms of trends. Okay, and that's the bullish abandoned baby. Now the bullish abandoned baby, I mean, it could be argued, but they say that there's no gaps actually showing the forex markets. Well, that's not actually true. There are gaps that appear in the markets, and they might turn around and say to you, well, the markets, yes, you will get a gap, but you'll get a gap at the beginning of the trading sessions, or like on a Sunday into the Monday. Yes, that's also true, but you also get big gaps during when the market is actually open, when there's, you know, too much hype going on, or whatever. But there are areas in the market, and I will show you some of them in a moment, that show where there's been a gap. So the way I've actually looked for bullish abandoned babies is that when I've seen the market come down, so let's say for instance, okay, so here is like the candles are going up, and then what you see, excuse the colors at the moment, the colors don't really bear no resemblance here, I'm just showing you the formation. What happens is that when the market goes up and it stops for a little bit and it might go sideways, you'll see like another one that gaps up like that. So you see this huge gap in there, right? G for that gap. What tends to happen is that this gap is then filled, and sometimes it goes down to as far as the low of that particular candle, and then the candle, the price will come back down. Okay, that's the abandoned baby. That's the way, you know, that I've shown people how to use the abandoned baby, because it does work out quite well. Alright, especially at, you know, when you're actually using them at the right areas of support and resistance levels. So if you're looking for a bearish one, then you try and will find ones down the bottom. Alright, but I've got an indicator that I'm working on. It's in beta mode right now. It doesn't pick up all of the formations as it should do, although it does pick up the formations for the most part. it has a little bug in there that we need to get ironed out, but I'm going to go ahead and show you it because it's a pretty neat indicator, and it's not going to be ready for quite some time yet, so people don't really need to ask me, you know, when's it going to be ready, am I going to be releasing it out. I really don't know. It's one of these big, it's a really a bigger project more than anything else. So I would just say no, it's not going to be released anytime soon. Alright, now this is a beta mode that we have going on right now, and it might be similar to some other tools that you have out there. There are some, you know, ideas from all over the place that we've picked up, tried out and thrown out and kept and tweaked and stuff like that and what have you. Alright, now here is what I was telling you about the Bullish abandoned baby. Okay, now I've used black and white in this instance, and I hope this actually does help colorblind people as well, and they can actually see the areas where the market's been colored in blue and red. Alright, but here is a perfect example that I wanted to show you. You see, like down the bottom here, we see like we're coming in a downwards trend, and then the market shot up a little bit, and then there's this big gap right there. Okay, and then shortly later the market comes back and fills that gap and stops right towards that low. You can see how it went sideways for 3 bars before it came down even lower. Alright, so that's the gap that I'm telling you about. Alright, now the way that they show you, so it's very hard if you're going to be learning this kind of stuff online. You're going to be going through this trial and error stuff like I had to. So hopefully, you know, you will take, you know, what it is that I'm saying with good note. Because so the stuff out there on on forums or other websites, what they're basically showing you are patterns that emerge in the market for candle formations that are for the equity markets, and the equity market charts are completely different. All right. So, but for the most part, I mean, the display, the way they look, are wrong. You know, they shouldn't be looking like that, and that's where I base most of my, you know, patterns on, looking on the pattern formations. Okay, so what we're going to do is basically try and find some areas. I mean, you know, in the market that looks like an abandoned baby. I mean, this one here looks like it's an abandoned baby, and this one here will also class as an abandoned baby. Alright, we've got one candle here to the left, then there's like a little star there, but this is like an evening star. Alright, so here's another one there, but what we should really be looking for, let's see if this indicator actually picks it up. We might have to go down to some lower time frames and see if we can pick up some abandoned babies. They are quite rare, so we have to evening star with a gap down. See, this is a very good one. I see this is where I kind of like throw in some extra information here on areas that you haven't even got to yet. But here, see, like there's a little gap here. When you see like a big gap down like that from an evening star, oh wow, I mean that's huge sentiment in there. Alright, now here's one, right, I mean this one's supposed to be a morning star, but again this can also class as an abandoned baby. So it really depends on, so you've got to be quite careful. This particular indicator at the moment carries around about 35 different patterns, but unfortunately when some patterns overlap another one, they don't show up. So we're trying to work out why it's doing that, and then, you know, why it's not showing, you know, like Harami crosses or bullish Haramis. Right, okay. Oh, I can't really find one in this particular example, so let's see if we can find a different currency pair. Let's try that. Okay. Dragonfly, Engulfing. Oh, it's getting a bit congested. Alright, just bear with us. Alright, let me just pause for a moment, see if I can find one. Oh, well, unfortunately, I'm unable to find any more, and my chart has stopped updating itself. I can't get any more data on the chart, so I'm not sure if it's my internet connection that's just kind of gone off, which is kind of always happens when you're trying to show things. But anyways, so yeah, so really, I mean, I'm using the 1 minute time frame here. Normally you see quite a few abandoned babies. I mean, like here's one here that's also classed as one. You can see there's a long candle bar up, and then you got this like doji candle here. Then there's like a gap from its open, from its close to its open, and you can see that when the market's come down, it's eventually come back to its filled that gap. All right. But yeah, I mean, these, when you see them, take them with a pinch of salt and don't sort of like go too overboard with them. Here is like another one here. It's kind of like an abandoned baby. It's come down, and as it's come down, it's come back and filled that gap. But generally, you know, what I tend to do is that when I see a gap like this, you know, I'll go in for a short position, and I'll target the next previous lows. Alright, I don't normally wait for it to go back up from like hitting from a low, and then I don't wait for it to fill that particular gap. You know, I normally get out around about here. And here's like another gap as well, and eventually it does get filled on this bar here. Alright, but you know, use these on larger time frames. Larger time frames, you won't really see many of them. I mean, like here's one right here. It gaps up and the market pulls away. This is actually a fouled bullish abandoned baby. So here is the abandoned baby terms anyway. What the abandoned baby is supposed to do, you're supposed to have, like here is your bull candle, then you're supposed to have like this big jump. Alright, then what's supposed to happen here is not another down candle, but an abandoned baby is supposed to have another push up. Alright, that's an abandoned baby. Okay, but it really depends on how you look at it. I look at this other one, the abandoned baby reversal pattern, and it's when it fails to go up any higher, then what will tend to happen is it will drop. Okay, so that's two ways that you can actually approach the abandoned baby. This one here is actually supposed to close off high, supposed to have another candle and close off higher and then go all the way up, but it didn't do that. So when it doesn't do that, you do basically the next formation, which is the reversal pattern, and then watch it to come down. Okay, so that's that gap. There's two ways you can actually trade that gap. Alright, so okay, so with that being said, let's move you on to the next video. Alright, and see how you do with that one. Alright, so I'll see you in a bit. Bye for now.